years and really know their stuff.
Very good. Any questions for Michael on this? If not, we hope we'll see you at 1:30 at the press conference in this room. Thanks very much, Michael, for coming this morning. Rupert, let's move on to...
She calls on the authorities and the people of Hong Kong to engage in an open and inclusive dialogue aimed at resolving all issues peacefully. This is the only sure way to achieve long-term political stability and public security by creating channels for people to participate in public affairs and decisions affecting their lives. So dialogue, that's what we're calling for, dialogue, dialogue. The rights of freedom of expression and peaceful assembly and the right to participate in public affairs are expressly recognized in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, as well as the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, which is incorporated into the basic law of the Hong Kong SAR. OHCHR has reviewed credible evidence of law enforcement officials employing less lethal weapons in ways that are prohibited by international norms and standards. For example, officials can be seen firing tear gas canisters into crowded enclosed areas and directly at individual protesters on multiple occasions, creating a considerable risk of death or serious injury. We urge the Hong Kong authorities to investigate these incidents immediately, to ensure security personnel comply with the rules of engagement, and where necessary, amend the rules of engagement for law enforcement officials in response to protests where these may not conform with international standards. The Office urges the Hong Kong authorities to act with restraint, to ensure that the rights of those who are expressing their views peacefully are respected and protected, while ensuring that the response by law enforcement officials to any violence that may take place is proportionate and in conformity with international standards on the use of force, including the principles of necessity and proportionality.
Whether she would end the extradition law, and she just wouldn't answer that question.
Yes, we're very concerned because the violence appears to be increasing. Certainly segments of the population appear to be getting angrier, and this is one of the reasons why we call for prompt, impartial, independent investigations, because they don't appear to have been happening so far, and this obviously is probably exacerbating the situation because the protesters are not, they're seeing very graphic images of situations, and they're not seeing the requisite investigations and people being held to account for any use of violence.
Do you China, and if the extradition law remains on the books even though it's not enforced,